What if the next 10 years of your life became the best 10 years of your life? Let that question sink in. Not just better, the best, not by accident, but by design. Not because everything magically falls into place, but because you finally decided to take the wheel. The truth is, most people don't create their future. They inherit it by default. They wait, they procrastinate. They drift through routines that keep them busy but not fulfilled. And then one day, they look back and wonder where the time went and why not much has changed. But you don't have to live like that. You can live with intention. You can live with purpose. And you can start right now. Because the next 10 years will pass, whether you plan them or not. The question is, will you shape them or will they shape you? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need a master plan. You just need to decide that you're done waiting, that you're done letting life happen to you, and ready to make life happen through you. It starts with one choice: to own your future, to get clear, to build discipline, to take action, even when it's hard. If something inside you is ready to rise, this message is for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to fix your next 10 years, step by step. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I help you unlock the mindset and momentum that can change your life forever. Let's dive in. Number 1, own your story. Before you can fix your next 10 years, you have to take ownership of the last 10. That's where it starts. Not with blame, not with guilt, but with ownership. Because as long as you keep pointing the finger at your past, your parents, your job, your partner, or your luck, you give away your power. And when you give away your power, you give away your future. Owning your story doesn't mean everything that happened was your fault. It means that everything that happens next is your responsibility. And that's a powerful place to be. Think of Nelson Mandela. He spent 27 years in prison. He was isolated, stripped of freedom, and betrayed by the very system he tried to change. But when he walked out of that prison, he didn't blame. He didn't seek revenge. He stepped into leadership. He took ownership of his role in shaping the future of his country. And in doing so, he changed not just his story, but the story of a nation. Now, maybe your situation isn't as extreme, but the principle is the same. You can't lead your future if you're still chained to your past. You have to choose, right here, right now, to take the pen back. Say this with me. I am not my mistakes. I am not my sets. I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to do next. That mindset changes everything. It's the shift from victim to creator, from waiting to leading. When you own your story, you stop waiting for someone else to rescue you. You stop hoping for a lucky break. You realize that no matter how messy your past has been, your future is unwritten, and you hold the pen. That doesn't mean the journey will be easy, but it will be yours, and that makes all the difference. So before you set goals, before you chase dreams, before you try to fix the outside, start with the inside. Look in the mirror and say, I am responsible for the life I create from this point forward. That's the moment your next 10 years begin to change. Because the most powerful story you'll ever tell is the one you write for yourself. Number 2, set a clear vision. If you don't know where you're going, how will you ever know if you've arrived? That's the problem most people face. They work hard, stay busy, and chase opportunities. But they're chasing in circles. They're reacting to life instead of leading it. And the reason is simple. They've never taken the time to create a vision that pulls them forward. A clear vision is more than a wish or a vague dream. It's a vivid mental picture of the life you want to live. It's not about what sounds good on paper. It's about what feels aligned with your purpose. When your vision is clear, your direction becomes obvious. Every decision, every action, every opportunity can be filtered through one simple question. Does this bring me closer to the life I want? Let's take the story of Walt Whitman, the iconic American poet, before he became a literary legend. He was working as a journalist, printing press operator, and teacher, barely scraping by. But he had a vision. He believed poetry could be more than tradition. It could be raw, free, personal, and revolutionary. That vision led him to self-publish Leaves of Grass at a time when his style was completely rejected by critics. But he didn't back down. He saw what others couldn't yet see. That vision pulled him through criticism, poverty, and years of slow progress, until the world finally caught up. His legacy wasn't created by talent alone. It was fueled by a clear, relentless vision. That's the kind of vision you need. So what does your life look like 10 years from now? Really take a moment. See it. Feel it. What kind of work are you doing? What kind of people are around you? What does your home look like? Your health? Your mindset? Don't settle for vague ideas like success or happiness. Make it personal. Make it vivid. Maybe your vision includes running a business, speaking on stages, or living debt-free. Maybe it includes traveling with your family, writing a book, or mentoring others. Whatever it is, it should pull you, not just intellectually, but emotionally. It should excite you and scare you at the same time. And once you can see it, write it down. Writing your vision brings clarity. It takes an idea from imagination into intention. Break it into categories: career, health, finances, relationships, personal growth. Describe what great looks like in each area. Keep it somewhere you'll see every day. Here's a powerful trick. Read your vision every morning. Start your day by reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing. This anchors your actions in purpose. When distractions show up, when doubt creeps in, your vision pulls you back to center. And don't be afraid if your vision is bigger than what you think you can achieve. It should stretch you. It should invite you to grow. Because if your vision is too comfortable, you'll never rise beyond your current level. Big dreams create big energy, and that energy drives action. Now, a critical point: your vision must be authentic, not what your parents want, not what society expects, yours. If you chase someone else's definition of success, you may reach the destination and still feel empty. But when your vision is aligned with your values, it brings fulfillment, not just achievement. That's the kind of life worth building. And don't worry if your vision changes. Life evolves. So will you. Revisit it. Refine it. That's not failure. That's alignment. The key is to have a vision, to know where you're headed, to wake up each day with direction. Because without vision, you'll follow paths that don't lead anywhere meaningful. But with vision, even your worst days have purpose. So set yours now. Make it clear. Make it bold. And let it become your inner compass for the next 10 years. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a powerful vision. The kind that keeps you going long after the motivation fades. Because when you know exactly where you're going, there's nothing that can stop you from getting there. Number 3. Break it down into goals. A powerful vision gives your life direction, but without goals, it's just a dream floating in your mind. That's where many people get stuck. They have big ideas, inspiring dreams, and even a sense of purpose, but no plan. And without a plan, dreams stay dreams. The bridge between where you are now and where you want to be is built with goals. Goals are not about pressure, they're about clarity. They bring focus to your energy. They turn overwhelming visions into manageable steps. Think of your vision as a destination on a map. Your goals are the specific turn-by-turn instructions that will get you there. 1 mile, 1 decision, 1 day at a time. Let's look at an example from history. Florence Nightingale, the founder of modern nursing, had a vision of improving medical care and hospital sanitation in the 19th century. At the time, hospitals were more dangerous than the streets, and women in medicine were hardly taken seriously. But she broke down her vision into clear strategic goals. She pushed for hospital reforms, gathered statistical evidence, trained nurses, and created guidelines for better hygiene. Step by step, she transformed an entire profession. She didn't just talk about change. She built it, goal by goal. So how do you do the same? Start by translating your vision into long-term goals. If your vision is to become financially independent, a long-term goal might be to pay off all debt in 5 years. If your vision is to improve your health, a long-term goal could be running a half marathon in a year or reducing your weight by a specific number. Now break those long-term goals into medium-term targets. Let's say you want to save $10,000 in 12 months. That breaks down to $834 per month, or about $28 per day. Suddenly what felt big and abstract becomes specific and actionable. This is where the power of SMART goals comes in. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. I want to get healthy is too vague, but I will cook healthy meals at home 5 days a week for the next 3 months is a SMART goal. It's trackable, it's real, and it creates momentum. Another helpful method is reverse engineering. Start with your end goal and work backward. If you want to launch a business in 12 months, what needs to happen by month 9, by month 6, by next week? This backward planning keeps you grounded and gives you immediate steps to take. But here's something just as important. Your goals must align with your values. If your goal is to build $1 million company, but what you truly value is freedom and time with your family, you might create a life that's successful on paper and miserable in reality. That's why goals aren't just about what you achieve. They're about how you feel when you get there. Keep your goals visible. Write them down. Put them where you can see them daily. This isn't just motivational fluff. Psychologists have shown that written goals significantly increase follow-through. Your brain processes them differently when they're on paper. They become commitments, not just concepts. Now let's talk about the size of your goals. Should they be small and achievable or bold and ambitious? The answer is both. You need big goals that stretch your thinking and push your comfort zone. But you also need small daily goals that keep you grounded and moving. Think of it like climbing a mountain. The summit is your ultimate goal, but each step up the path is just as essential. And don't get discouraged by slow progress. Success is rarely loud or dramatic. It's quiet. It's repetitive. It looks like doing the work even when nobody sees. Checking the box even when it's not exciting. Progress compounds. What starts as a small win today builds confidence for a bigger win tomorrow. Also, don't be afraid to adjust. Life happens. You might hit roadblocks. You might realize your timeline was unrealistic. That's not failure. It's feedback. Goals are not rigid. They're flexible guides. The point is not to get it perfect. The point is to stay in motion. Accountability helps too. Share your goals with someone you trust. Better yet, track them together. When you know someone else is watching your progress, you're more likely to follow through. One final tip. Celebrate every milestone. Too many people wait until the finish line to feel proud. Don't. Every time you complete a step, honor it. You're building something. You're keeping promises to yourself. That matters. That changes you. So take that big dream, break it down, set your goals, write them, track them, live them. Because the life you want won't arrive all at once. It will be built. Goal by goal, one decision at a time. Number 4. Build life-changing habits. If goals are the roadmap to your future, then habits are the vehicle that gets you there. They're not flashy, they're not always exciting, but they are the difference between a life of momentum and a life of stagnation. You won't fix your next 10 years by doing something once. You'll fix it by doing the right things over and over until they become a part of who you are. You already have habits. The question is, are they helping you or holding you back? Most people underestimate the power of habits because they don't see immediate results. They eat a healthy meal and nothing changes. They go to the gym once and the mirror looks the same. They save $20 and their bank account still feels empty. So they quit. But habits are like planting seeds. Nothing happens at first. But if you stay consistent, the roots grow. The results begin to compound. And before you know it, your entire life has changed from the inside out. Let's take a look at someone who understood this deeply. Benjamin Franklin. Long before modern habit tracking apps, Franklin created a daily chart to track 13 personal virtues he believed would lead to a better life. Things like discipline, frugality, humility, and cleanliness. Every evening he evaluated his day, marked where he succeeded or failed, and used that reflection to improve. That simple system helped him become one of the respected thinkers, inventors, and leaders in American history. Not because he chased motivation, but because he mastered habits. You can do the same. The good news is that habits are entirely within your control. You can choose to build them. And when you do, you change the foundation of your identity. You're not just doing healthy things, you become someone who lives healthy. You're not just saving money, you become someone who manages wealth. Habits aren't about who you are today, they're about who you're becoming. Start small, that's key. Don't try to overhaul your entire life in a week. Focus on 1 or 2 habits at a time. Maybe it's drinking water first thing in the morning. Maybe it's reading for 10 minutes a day. Maybe it's journaling or stretching or turning off your phone an hour before bed. Pick something that matters to you and commit to it daily. Use habit stacking to make it easier. That means attaching a new habit to something you already do. For example, after I make coffee, I'll write down 3 goals for the day. Or after I brush my teeth, I'll do 5 minutes of breathing exercises. Linking new actions to familiar routines reduces friction and helps the habit stick. Also, design your environment to support your habits. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow. Want to work out? Lay out your gym clothes the night before. Want to eat healthier? Remove junk food from your home. Your willpower is limited, but your environment can be designed to make the right choice the easy choice. Now, let's talk about consistency. This is where most people fall off. They do something for a few days and expect fireworks. But lasting change is quiet, invisible at first. The real transformation happens when you do it long enough that you no longer have to think about it. It just becomes who you are. There will be days you don't feel like showing up. That's normal. But if you want the next 10 years to be different, those are the days that count the most. That's when you lean into discipline. That's when you remember your why. Missing once is human. Missing twice is a new habit in the wrong direction. Track your habits. You don't need a fancy app. A simple checklist will do. There's something powerful about checking off a box each day. It's visual proof that you're building something, and it adds up. 1 day, then 5, then 30, then a year. And then you look back and realize you've become someone entirely different. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. Reward yourself for staying on track. That celebration doesn't have to be big, just something to anchor the feeling of progress. Progress reinforces belief. Belief builds identity. Identity creates momentum. One important reminder, breakups with bad habits are just as critical as building new ones. Identify the habits that are stealing your time, energy, and attention. Scrolling endlessly, complaining, procrastinating. Replace them with actions that move you forward. Every habit has a cost or a reward. Make sure yours are paying you back. In the end, habits are how you automate success. They make excellence easier, and once they're in motion, they begin to work for you. Even when you're tired, distracted, or unmotivated. You don't need to change everything today. You just need to start. Pick one habit, practice it, stick with it, and watch what happens over time. Because the life you want isn't hidden in some giant breakthrough. It's waiting in the small, consistent things you choose to do every single day. Number 5, embrace discipline over motivation. Let's get real. Motivation is unreliable. It's emotional. It's based on how you feel in the moment. And let's be honest, someday you won't feel like doing the hard things. You won't feel like getting out of bed early. You won't feel like going to the gym, working on your goals, or saying no to distractions. That's where most people give up. But the ones who win, they don't depend on motivation. They depend on discipline. If motivation is the spark, discipline is the engine. It's what keeps you moving long after the excitement wears off. Discipline is the ability to keep showing up, even when you're tired, even when you're bored, even when no one's watching. And if you want to fix your next 10 years, you need to stop waiting to feel inspired and start building the muscle of doing it anyway. Look at Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary Japanese swordsman and strategist from the 1600s. He wasn't just a warrior. He was a master of self-control. Musashi trained endlessly. He studied not just the art of battle, but also philosophy, calligraphy, and the way of discipline. He once wrote, "You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor." To him, that meant mastering yourself first, your impulses, your habits, your actions. His victories weren't just in combat. They were in his daily commitment to sharpening his mind and body, no matter how he felt. You might not be holding a sword, but you are in a battle against distraction, against procrastination, against the voice in your head that tells you to take it easy. Discipline is what wins that battle. And here's the good news. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Just like a muscle, it grows stronger every time you use it. So how do you build discipline? Start small. Don't try to overhaul your life in a day. Pick one commitment and keep it. Wake up at the time you said you would. Do the workout you planned. Write for 20 minutes. The action doesn't have to be huge. The follow-through is what matters. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build trust. You prove to your brain, I do what I say I will do. That belief becomes your new identity. Create routines. When your day has structure, you don't leave room for hesitation. Build a morning routine that energizes you. Build an evening routine that prepares you. When your schedule has rhythm, you don't waste energy deciding what to do. You just do it. And over time, those routines become your edge. Remove temptation. Willpower is not infinite. If you constantly surround yourself with distractions, you're going to lose the fight. Make your environment work for you, not against you. Put your phone in another room while you work. Block social media during focus hours. Prep your meals so you don't grab junk food. Discipline becomes easier when your environment supports it. Use accountability. Tell someone your goal. Ask them to check in. When you know someone else is watching, your follow-through improves. Better yet, find someone on a similar path and commit to growing together. Iron sharpens iron. Understand the difference between urgent and important. Discipline means saying no to what's screaming for your attention right now, in favor of what will matter a year from now. It's not always fun. It's not always exciting, but it's always worth it. And remember, there will be days when you fail. You'll miss a workout. You'll eat the wrong thing. You'll sleep in. That's okay. You're not building perfection. You're building consistency. The goal is not to never fall. The goal is to get back up faster each time. Discipline isn't about doing everything right. It's about doing the right thing more often than not, and sticking with it when it counts. Here's a powerful shift. Don't just use discipline to get things done. Use it to become the kind of person you want to be. The kind of person who follows through, does hard things, who doesn't wait to feel ready. When your identity shifts, discipline becomes part of who you are, not just what you do. So the next time your alarm goes off and you don't want to get up, remember your future is being decided in that moment. Not by what you say you want, but by what you do. Discipline is freedom. It frees you from regret. It frees you from guilt. It frees you from the chaos of a life without direction. And in the long run, it gives you something motivation never can. Results. Your next 10 years won't be built on what you felt like doing. They'll be built on what you chose to do, day after day, action after action. Not perfect, but persistent. So build discipline and let it build your future. Number 6, master your time. Time is your most valuable, non-renewable resource. You can earn more money, meet new people, learn new skills, but you can't get more time. Once it's gone, it's gone. And yet most people treat it like it's unlimited. They let it slip through their fingers, distracted, disorganized, and overcommitted. If you want to fix your next 10 years, you must master your time. Not manage it, not juggle it, but master it. Mastering your time starts with one fundamental mindset shift. You are in control of your schedule, not your job, not your phone, not the people who demand your attention. Your time is your life. And if you don't protect it, someone else will use it for their priorities instead of yours. Let's look at Leonardo da Vinci, a painter, sculptor, architect, scientist, inventor, and writer. He lived a life so rich in contribution that even centuries later, we're still studying his brilliance. But his secret wasn't just talent, it was obsession with time. Da Vinci scheduled his days meticulously. He carved out time blocks to think, sketch, experiment, and reflect. His journals were filled with to-do lists, goals, and experiments. He didn't wait for time, he claimed it. So how do you begin mastering your time? First, Audit it. Track how you're currently spending your days, hour by hour, for 1 week. You'll likely be shocked at how much time goes to low-value tasks, distractions, or aimless scrolling. Awareness is the first step. You can't change what you don't track. Next, prioritize ruthlessly. Not everything matters equally. Identify the tasks, projects, and habits that truly move you toward your long-term goals. These are your high-impact activities. Everything else is noise. Use the 80-20 rule. 80% of your results often come from 20% of your efforts. Find those high-return activities and double down. Then create a daily system. Time mastery isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters on purpose. Start your day with intention. Know your top 3 priorities before you open your inbox or scroll your feed. Use tools like time blocking to assign your tasks specific windows. When you plan your day by the hour, you eliminate decision fatigue and stay focused. Another powerful technique is batching. Group similar tasks together. Instead of checking emails all day, answer them during 1 or 2 dedicated blocks. Instead of reacting to notifications, turn them off and check messages on your terms. Every time you switch tasks, your brain burns energy. Batching helps you stay in deep focus longer. You should also learn the art of saying no. Every yes you say is a no to something else. You have to protect your time like it's sacred, because it is. Don't say yes to every meeting, every favor, every invite. Learn to say, let me get back to you, or that doesn't fit with my current priorities. Saying no is not rude, it's responsible. Let's not forget energy management. Time is only useful if you have the energy to use it well. Pay attention to your natural rhythms. When are you sharpest? Morning, afternoon, evening. Align your most important work with your peak energy windows. Don't waste those hours on busy work. Use them to make real progress. Also incorporate recovery into your schedule. Productivity isn't about grinding until burnout. It's about balancing work with recovery. Schedule breaks. Take walks. Breathe. Let your mind reset. Your brain isn't a machine, it's a muscle. And it performs best when you treat it well. Another essential tool, the weekly review. Every week, take 15 minutes to review your wins, your misses, and your upcoming priorities. What worked, what didn't, what can be improved. This habit alone will sharpen your focus and prevent you from drifting week after week. And finally, be flexible but firm. Life will throw curveballs. Schedules will shift. Emergencies will happen. That's okay. Time mastery isn't about rigidity. It's about ownership. Even when things go off course, you come back to your plan. You adapt and keep moving forward. One last tip. Treat your calendar as a reflection of your vision. If someone looked at how you spent your last 7 days, would they know what your goals are? Would they see your priorities clearly? If not, adjust. Because your time reveals what truly matters to you. Not your words, your schedule. In the next 10 years, you'll have 87,600 hours. That's it. What you do with those hours will shape everything. Your income, your relationships, your health, your impact. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be deliberate. Plan your days, protect your time. Focus your energy. Because when you master your time, you don't just get more done. You create a life that feels aligned, empowered, and on purpose. And that's how you turn days into progress, and progress into the life you've always imagined. Number 7, invest in yourself every day. If your future is a building, you are the foundation. And like any great structure, your foundation needs to be strong, stable, and constantly reinforced. That's why the 7th step to fixing your next 10 years is this: invest in yourself every single day. Because no matter what changes in the world, your career, the economy, technology, you are the one constant. The better you become, the better your life becomes. Most people spend more time upgrading their phones than upgrading themselves. They'll invest in streaming services, gadgets, or entertainment, but hesitate to spend time or money on learning, growth, or health. But here's the truth. The greatest return on investment you will ever get is from developing your mind, your body, and your character. Let's take a timeless example of Booker T. Washington. Born into slavery, he had every reason to give up on the idea of success. But he believed deeply in the power of self-education and personal growth. He walked hundreds of miles to attend school. He learned to read by candlelight, and he didn't stop there. He went on to become one of the most influential educators and leaders in American history. Not because he had resources, but because he made himself the most valuable resource. He knew the secret: when you invest in yourself, the world begins to invest in you too. So where do you begin? Start with your mind. Read every day. Learn every day. Feed your brain with books, courses, conversations, and ideas that stretch your thinking. You don't need a fancy degree. You need curiosity. You need humility. You need a desire to grow. Even 15 minutes of reading a day adds up to over 20 books a year. Imagine how much wiser, sharper, and more confident you'd be if you made that a habit. Then invest in your health. Your body is the vehicle that will carry you through your goals, your challenges, your dreams. When it breaks down, everything else becomes harder. Exercise regularly. Move your body. Eat food that fuels you, not just fills you. Prioritize sleep. Manage stress. Drink more water. Simple things. But when done consistently, they change everything. A strong body fuels a strong mind and a strong life. Next, protect and train your mindset. This is where everything begins. Your mindset is the filter through which you see the world. If it's clouded with negativity, fear, or limitation, even the best opportunities will pass you by. But when your mindset is grounded in belief, gratitude, and growth, you start to see doors where others see walls. Practice gratitude daily. Start each morning by writing down 3 things you're thankful for. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on what's working rather than what's missing. Affirm your goals. Speak life into your day. Say things like, I am capable, I am growing, I am becoming better every day. These are not just phrases, they are blueprints for your identity. Also, invest in your emotional well-being. Journaling, meditation, therapy, conversations with people who uplift you. Your emotional health affects your decisions, your relationships, and your energy. Don't wait until things break to start taking care of it. Prioritize your peace like your future depends on it, because it does. Now, let's talk about your skills. What can you learn today that makes you more valuable tomorrow? Maybe it's communication. Maybe it's marketing, writing, coding, design, leadership. You live in a time where any skill can be learned with a few taps on your phone. Podcasts, YouTube, masterclasses, books. There's no excuse for staying stagnant. But don't just learn, apply. Take what you've learned and put it into action. Teach it, share it, use it in your work. Learning without implementation is entertainment. Real growth happens when knowledge turns into movement. And don't forget to invest in your relationships. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who challenge you to rise, who believe in your potential, even when you're struggling to see it. Relationships are mirrors. The right ones reflect your strength and help you stay aligned with your purpose. Most importantly, be willing to bet on yourself. Take risks that stretch you. Speak up. Try something new. Start the thing you've been talking about for years. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes from action. And every time you show up for yourself, you send a message to the world. I'm serious about who I'm becoming. And remember, this isn't about being perfect. It's about being committed. Even 30 minutes a day can change your direction. That's just 2% of your day. If you can give 2% to growth, the other 98% will start to reflect it. Your next 10 years are shaped by the investments you make today. Not in things, not in distractions, but in you. So read the book, join the class, take the walk, write the journal, say the affirmation, build the habit, keep showing up. Because the most valuable asset you'll ever have is you. And when you grow, everything around you grows with you. Number 8, learn from every failure. Nobody likes to fail. It's uncomfortable. It stings. It makes you question yourself. But if you're serious about fixing your next 10 years, you need to understand this. Failure is not the enemy. In fact, it might be your greatest teacher. Most people try to avoid failure at all costs. They'd rather play it safe than risk messing up. But what they don't realize is that every time they avoid failure, they're also avoiding growth. Because failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every successful person you've ever admired has a trail of failures behind them. It's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up and how much wiser you become every time you do. Let's go back to one of the most iconic innovators in American history, Henry Ford. Before Ford revolutionized the automobile industry, he failed repeatedly. His first company, the Detroit Automobile Company, went bankrupt. Investors pulled out. People laughed at his vision. But Ford didn't see failure as the end. He saw it as a lesson. He learned what didn't work. He adjusted. He refined. Eventually, he created the Ford Motor Company and introduced the assembly line, changing the world of manufacturing forever. His story wasn't one of flawless execution. It was one of persistence, adaptation, and learning from his mistakes. So how can you apply this mindset to your own life? Start by changing your definition of failure. Failure is not a reflection of your worth. It's feedback. It's information. It's an opportunity to grow. When you shift your perspective, failure stops being something to fear and becomes something to use. Let's say you tried starting a business and it didn't take off. Instead of labeling yourself a failure, ask, what did I learn? What would I do differently? Where did I underestimate the challenge? Where did I overlook the details? Those questions turn a painful experience into a priceless one. The same goes for relationships, career moves, health goals, anything. You try, you miss, you reflect, you grow. That's the real formula. But there's a critical step that most people skip: ownership. When things go wrong, it's easy to point fingers at the market, your boss, your partner, your timing. But blaming doesn't lead to growth. Owning your failures gives you the power to improve. It puts you back in the driver's seat. It says, this happened, and I take responsibility for my part in it. And that's not about beating yourself up. It's about building yourself up. Because when you own your role, you also own your ability to change the outcome next time. Another important piece: separate your failures from your identity. Just because something you tried didn't work doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're trying. It means you're experimenting. It means you're brave enough to put yourself in the arena while others stay on the sidelines. You have to stop seeing failure as a verdict and start seeing it as a chapter. It's not your whole story. It's just part of the process. The road to success is paved with missed shots, wrong turns, awkwardness, and false starts. That's how you learn. That's how you build the grit and wisdom that success demands. Also, be careful who you surround yourself with during times of failure. Some people will use it to say, see, I told you it wouldn't work. Others will say, that's okay. What did you learn? How will you come back stronger? Choose the second group. Their voices matter more than the critics. And here's something powerful. When you talk openly about your failures, you inspire others. You show them that it's okay to fall. That resilience is more important than perfection. That starting over is not weakness, it's courage. Your honesty gives others permission to stop pretending they have it all together. So how do you start using failure as fuel? Keep a failure journal. After a setback, write down what happened, how it made you feel, what you learned, and what you'll do differently next time. You'll be amazed how your greatest lessons stack up over time. Set learning goals, not just performance goals. Instead of saying, I must succeed at this, say, I will give this my best and learn as much as I can. That subtle shift relieves pressure and keeps you open to growth. Celebrate resilience, not just results. When you get back up, that's a win. When you try again, that's progress. When you grow from the experience, that's success, even if the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. Remember, the people who go the farthest are never the ones who avoided failure. They're the ones who walked through it and came out stronger on the other side. You're gonna fail at something in the next 10 years. That's guaranteed. But what's also guaranteed is this: if you commit to learning from every failure, There's no limit to how far you can rise. So the next time something doesn't go as planned, don't ask, why me? Ask, what's this trying to teach me? Because in every failure, there's a lesson. And in every lesson, there's the power to become unstoppable. Number 9, build a circle that elevates you. No one climbs alone. You might be strong, disciplined, and determined, but without the right people around you, your progress will stall. That's why the 9th step to fixing your next 10 years is one of the most overlooked, yet most powerful. Build a circle that elevates you. We often talk about habits, goals, and mindset, but rarely do we talk about environment. And your environment isn't just where you live, it's who you live around. The people in your life are shaping your beliefs, your energy, your ambitions, and your standards, whether you realize it or not. Think about it. Your conversations, your routines, your confidence levels. They're all influenced by the people you interact with daily. If you're constantly surrounded by people who complain, make excuses, or settle for average, that energy starts to rub off. You lower your standards without even realizing it. On the other hand, if you're around people who are growing, building, and thinking big, you'll rise to match their frequency. Let's take an example from history. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men of the 19th century. His rise wasn't just because of his work ethic or intelligence. It was because he intentionally surrounded himself with thinkers, innovators, and mentors. He credited much of his success to the influence of others, especially his network of advisors. One of those people was Napoleon Hill, who later wrote Think and Grow Rich based on the principles Carnegie and his circle lived by. Carnegie understood the truth. Your inner circle is your power source. So let me ask you, who's in your circle? Who do you spend the most time with? Who do you text when you're stuck? Who do you vent to? Who do you celebrate wins with? Now ask yourself, do those people push you forward or pull you back? You don't need to cut everyone off to grow, but you do need to be intentional. There are 3 types in your life: lifters, lockers, and leaners. Lifters push you higher. They challenge you, believe in you, and celebrate your growth. Lockers try to keep you where you are, safe, small, familiar. Leaners constantly drain your energy, but offer nothing back. You need more lifters, and you need to spend less time with the lockers and leaners. Building a better circle doesn't mean you abandon people. It means you prioritize influence. It means you spend more time around people whose lives make you want to level up. If you can't find them in person, start online. Follow inspiring leaders. Listen to empowering podcasts. Join mastermind groups. Attend events. In the digital age, access is everywhere. You just have to be intentional with it. Also, seek out mentors. People who have already walked the path you're on. Their wisdom can save you years of trial and error. You don't need dozens. Just 1 or 2 voices you trust and respect can make a massive difference. And if you can't find a mentor in real life, let books mentor you. Let biographies mentor you. You can learn from the greatest minds in history without ever meeting them. But building a powerful circle isn't just about what you get. It's also about what you give. Be the kind of person you want in your circle. Be supportive. Be consistent. Share value. Celebrate others. Show up. When you invest in your relationships with authenticity and generosity, you naturally attract people who do the same. It's also important to be vulnerable. Real connection isn't built on perfection. It's built on honesty. Share your struggles. Be open about your growth process. When you're authentic, you give others permission to do the same. And that's how trust is built. That's how real communities form. Now let's talk about protecting your circle. You must set boundaries with those who bring negativity, drama, or chaos into your space. It's not about being harsh. It's about protecting your peace. You don't need to engage with every opinion. You don't have to explain your vision to everyone. Not everyone deserves front row access to your life. You're building something meaningful, and that requires focus, clarity, and support. Your circle is your ecosystem. It can either feed your potential or poison your progress. Remember this, you rise to the level of your circle's expectations. So find people who see your greatness, even when you forget it. People who talk about ideas, growth, goals, not gossip, fear, and limits. People who remind you who you're becoming, And if you don't have that kind of circle yet, become that person first. Work on yourself. Grow. Show up. The right people will come. Energy attracts energy. And when you raise your standard, your circle will begin to reflect it. So don't just focus on what you're doing. Focus on who you're doing life with. Because 10 years from now, your environment will have shaped your identity more than almost anything else. Choose wisely. Build intentionally. Grow together. Number 10. Take action and never stop. This is it. The final and most critical step in fixing your next 10 years. Take action and never stop. You can read all the books, set all the goals, build the perfect plan. But none of it matters if you don't act. Success is not about how much you know. It's about what you do with what you know. The greatest ideas in the world are useless without execution. The clearest vision, the smartest goals, the best habits, they're all potential. And potential without action is just wasted energy. Taking action is the difference between dreaming and doing, between hoping for change and creating change, between someday and right now. Let's look at the story of Soichiro Honda, the founder of Honda Motor Company. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege. In fact, he failed many times before ever building a successful company. His early business was bombed during World War II. His factory was hit by an earthquake. His supply chain collapsed. Most people would have given up, but Honda kept taking action. He rebuilt, reworked, and restarted. Every failure became fuel for the next step. Today, his company is a global symbol of innovation and resilience, not because everything went smoothly, but because he never stopped moving forward. That's the mindset you need. But here's the truth. Action is rarely convenient. It won't always feel good. You'll never feel 100% ready. You'll have doubts, distractions, and days when nothing seems to work. That's when most people hesitate. They say, I'll start when I feel more confident, when I have more time, when things settle down. But if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Action doesn't come after clarity. It creates clarity. The moment you take even the smallest step forward, you begin to learn. You discover what works, what doesn't, what needs to change. You gain confidence, not because you figured it all out, but because you showed yourself what you're capable of. Think about the first time you tried something new. Driving a car, learning a new skill, going to the gym. You probably weren't great at first, but you didn't need to be. You just needed to try. And over time you got better. The same goes for anything you want to improve. Your business, your health, your relationships, your mindset. Improvement only happens through action. Here's something important. Start small. Don't wait for a grand moment. Start with one step. One phone call, one workout, one conversation, one application, one new choice. Big things happen through small beginnings. The most powerful journeys are built step by step, brick by brick. And once you start, keep going. This is where most people struggle. They get inspired, take a little action, then stop. The excitement fades. Life gets busy. Results don't come fast enough, so they give up. But those who win, they keep showing up. Even when it's not exciting. Even when progress is slow. Even when they fail. That's the power of consistency. Because action doesn't just create momentum, it creates identity. Every time you do the thing, you become someone who does the thing. You're not just working on your goal, you're becoming the kind of person who follows through. And that's what creates lasting transformation. You also need to embrace the idea that not every action will lead to success, but every action will lead to learning. You'll make mistakes, you'll hit walls, you'll do things wrong. But all of that is part of the process. The goal is not to get everything right. The goal is to keep going long enough to get it right eventually. And don't underestimate the importance of your environment. Surround yourself with doers, people who take action, people who are moving. That energy is contagious. If you're surrounded by complainers and procrastinators, their habits will rub off. But if you're surrounded by action takers, you'll start moving just by being around them. Create routines that support action. Set up your space to reduce friction. Lay out your clothes the night before. Schedule your workout. Prep your meals. Plan your week. Remove as many excuses as possible. The easier you make it to act, the more you will. And when resistance shows up, and it will, remember your why. Why did you start? What are you working toward? Who are you doing this for? Reconnect with your deeper reason and let it fuel you through the hard days. Because at the end of the day, the next 10 years won't be shaped by your intentions. They'll be shaped by your actions, not the ones you talk about, not the ones you plan, but the ones you actually do. So take the step, even if it's messy, even if you're scared, even if you're uncertain, then take the next one, and the one after that, and never ever stop. Because action is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. And the more you cross that bridge, the closer your future gets. Fix your next 10 years by doing something today that your future self will thank you for. You've made it through the blueprint, the mindset, the actions, the disciplines that can completely transform your next 10 years. But now comes the most important part. What will you do with this message? Because the truth is, nothing changes until you change, and no one can change your life for you. Not your boss, not your parents, not your partner. This journey, this next chapter is yours. You get to decide what comes next. And that is an incredibly powerful thing. Let's recap what you've unlocked. You learned to own your story, to stop blaming and start taking responsibility. You discovered how to create a clear vision, a compelling picture of where you want your life to go. You broke that vision down into actionable goals. You committed to the small, consistent habits that compound over time. You embraced discipline, knowing it's stronger than fleeting motivation. You learned how to master your time, your most limited and precious resource. You chose to invest in yourself daily to grow your mind, your body, and your skill set. You decided to learn from every failure, knowing that mistakes are stepping stones to mastery. You built a circle that elevates you, full of people who challenge and support your growth. And finally, you committed to taking action and never stopping. That's not just a to-do list. That's a foundation, a personal operating system, a framework for building a decade that's full of purpose, growth, and fulfillment. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to start. Start now. Start small. But start, because 10 years from today, you will arrive somewhere. The only question is, where will you be proud of how you spent the time? Will you be stronger, wiser, freer? Will you be living the life you once only dreamed about? Or will you be looking back, wondering why you didn't begin? Don't let that happen. Your next 10 years are in your hands. So take the wheel, do the work, show up. And when the decade is over, may you look back not with regret, but with pride, knowing you built something great. One decision at a time, one day at a time. It starts now. Let's go build the life you were meant to live.